This is Laura Lee Rose, and this is Fast Tracking the Professional Highway, 10 Tools in 10 Minutes. Now, I want to apologize in advance. I have way too much material for the time slot. I'm going to end around 1:50 to allow people to stretch their legs and prepare for the next presentation, and it won't give me enough time to go through all this material. But I will send out the full presentation to the people registered, and sometimes I know we need to noodle on some of the materials before we even can think of a question. So feel free to send additional questions to me afterwards, or actually bring them to the panel discussion on Friday at 1 p.m. and ask them there. Okay? There are two ways to ask questions. You can do it via the computer using the chat room, or you can dial the number 347-205-9370 and then just ask your question or talk to the guest or host. Okay? A little bit about myself and my background. I have about 25 years in the software development industry and IT arena. I started out as a developer and a programmer, and then I went into testing and I became a manager, both a hiring and firing manager, both developers and testers. And during the time that I was a manager, I developed a program called the Design Partner Program, and that is incorporating how to invite high-profile clients to become the part of our development team. They reviewed specs and they prioritized our requirements. They reviewed prototypes and demos, and we were delivering them things. We were delivering to them the products at each phase. We were actually giving them something at each milestone of the product. Why I'm talking about this is that this Design Partner Program, when I started in my small department, was actually adopted and extended throughout the entire IBM Rational brand-wide exercises. It became a part of the biannual Rational User Conference. We called that instance called Voice. Now it's called Innovate. But it started out as my design program in my department. So this is an example of elevating your current tasks to a higher level and actually bringing it company-wide. So we're going to be talking about how to do that a little bit in this discussion as well. From that, I became a product manager and a project manager. I actually have 5 patents. One of my patents is a business process patent. So you can actually get your processes patented. So I just want to let you know that it doesn't have to be just a product or a feature. You can have one on a business project or a business patent. From then, I became a business and efficiency coach. I work on one-on-one coaching as well as group coaching. I do seminars such as this, and I'm also an author. I wrote a book called Timepiece, Making Peace with Time. It actually holds a lot of my time management techniques and tips, but it's a backdrop of a novel form. It actually shows you how to use these time tips in real life because of that novel background. I also have a professional development toolkit. It's a 12-week product of different materials. It has audios, videos, webinars, templates, worksheets, and other tools. It's a DVD package, and it actually has all these tools within it as well as the lesson plan of how to use these tools. And a companion piece to this is called the Book of Answers. It has 100 real-world work scenarios and how to accomplish them with these tools and the way of thinking. So that Book of Answers, we're going to talk about some of the scenarios that you're going to find in that Book of Answers. If you're interested in more information about those things, just holler at me a little bit later and I'll tell you how to get them. Okay? Some of the situations and issues that these tools will help you are clarifying your individual business goals and passions, aligning your goals with the company's goals, increasing your influence and value to the company through building relationships and business networking strategies, designing and achieving your individual professional path, not allowing other people to do it for you, and then feeling more secured in your professional life. A lot of people today are a little bit nervous about what the future may hold for them. They kind of want to keep their heads down so they don't lose their jobs, things like that. We're going to talk about ways to feel more secure in your environment. I'm going to first start off with some misconceptions, some things that people kind of put these responsibilities on the manager or even the company. It's not your manager's responsibility for you to have a satisfying work-life balance strategy. It's not their responsibility for your career development. They're not responsible to make sure you know the right people to network so that you keep your job. It's not their responsibility for making sure you know about all these things. And your manager is not the gating factor that's keeping you from these things. So a lot of people are blaming other people for their lack of promotion or their lack of professional advancement. So we're going to put those strategies to bed, and we're going to do something a little bit different. So today, some of the common situations that people see in the work environment that my clients talk to me about is, for instance, maybe you've been receiving average performance ratings or meeting performance expectations, and now your boss, even though you've been getting average ratings, your boss has implied that you need to start looking for another position. So what are the steps you can do there to succeed? So we're going to be talking about that a little bit. About another situation is that, to help out your team, you've been accepting tasks that are actually below your pay grade or your band level. And because you are really busy with these inappropriate level tasks, you cannot accept the appropriate and high-profile assignments. So what effect does that have on your performance ratings? And we're going to be talking about that. Another situation is that, your goal is to get an above expectation or excellent performance rating, but you just don't know how to do that. So we'll talk about that. And another situation that came up recently is that several people have come up and said, hey, I've been in the same position for a long time. It's a small company. There's really no chance of advancement. I understand what I'm doing. I can put in my 8 hours and leave the job at the office. I don't have to worry about anything. It's comfortable. What's wrong with this situation? You talk about, high performing. What if I'm totally satisfied with what I'm doing and where I am? And we're going to talk about some risks about being so compliant and so satisfied with your job. Okay? So these are just a few of the situations we talk about in the Book of Answers and how to get ahead in these particular situations. Okay, so first, I'm really a big believer in setting some goals, because I feel like if you don't have any goals set, then wherever you are right now is fine. So you can't really complain where you are if you don't have your goals set. So what are some of your efficiency and productivity targets for your work environment and your personal life in general? Set some time up and try to decide what are your performance rating goals. Are you satisfied with a below average or average rating? Do you want to get that above average rating? What are your goals for those things? What exactly is your career and professional vision? What do you see yourself doing in 5 years or 10 years? Are you so busy in the day-to-day activity that you haven't taken time to see where you want to go in the future, where you want to be in 5 or 10 years? And then most companies these days, in the current economic situation, they are trying to do more with less. So that is a known entity. Your company and your manager and your employers are trying to do more with less. What are your plans to do more with less? Do you have a plan? So, if you could wave your magic wand, what would you change? So we're going to be talking about some of those ideas. Now, I saw another caller come on board, and I'm going to open the mic for this caller and get their name and find out a little bit about them. your one key, and I'll get to you. The next segment is the business of busyness. How many of us, I know a lot of us, kind of get really caught up in just being busy. They're too busy to do things. And I just want to encourage everybody that just the act of being busy doesn't mean you're being productive. It just means that you're busy. So sometimes we stay exhausted because we're just trying to keep our heads above water, doing the same everyday tasks, and we're too busy doing what we think is expected of us that we don't have time to do the above expectations. We are doing everything that they are asking us to do, and we're still getting the average or below average rating. One of the segments in my professional development tool talks about what you need to know about how your boss's minds work. And that actually works to our advantage. Understanding what the boss thinks works to our advantage. For instance, in performance ratings, you may feel that you work, 18 hours a day doing everything they ask of us. We're doing, we're fulfilling our roles and duties and responsibilities, at the exceptional level, but we're still getting that average rating. So we're asking ourselves, we should be getting exceptional or above average rating. Why am I still getting average rating? Well, what your boss is thinking is, well, I pay you to do excellent work in these assigned areas. So to his mind, you're meeting expectations because he expects this of you. So that's a little bit different. So I have to go beyond what he expects of me. So how do we do that? How do we do that with the time that we have available? And we'll talk a little bit about that as we continue on. One of my favorite philosophers is actually Albert Einstein. He defines insanity as doing the same thing and expecting different results. So if you like what is happening in your job, where you are and where you're going in your professional career, just keep doing what you are doing. You're doing great. But if you're not totally satisfied, think about changing something. And that's what we're talking about today, is trying to advance, trying to promote ourselves. So what are some of the things that we can do different? Well, back in the old days when I first started, it was fine that I could hide behind my computer and do my work and work in a silo. But in today's economy and environment, we actually have to be the total package. We have to be very well-rounded. We actually have to understand the customer's experience and the customer's perspective. We have to market and network ourselves to get in front of the right people. We have to be good at presentation and persuasion skills. We have to network with other managers, departments, and even other businesses, for instance, in professional organizations, and using social networking media like LinkedIn and Facebook to our advantage. And then one of the most important things that we need to do is to be able to quantify our value to the company across departments. A lot of us are very good at identifying what we do, the tasks and the responsibilities that we're doing, but we're not very good at quantifying the results. What does it mean to the company? How do I align it with the company goals? So some of the things that we're going to be covering in the Professional Development Toolkit and actually in the Book of Answers, if you're interested in more information about that, are time management skills, project management skills, the business savvy and appropriately marketing yourself, effective communication and listening skills, effective meeting management. A meeting, in my definition, is any interaction between two people is a meeting. So the better we can be at meetings, be more effective, be more professional, the better we're building our business reputation. We talked about our customer perspective, understanding what they have, their needs, and then being understood. A customer in this definition is not just the conventional customer that's paying for the service. It's our managers, it's our coworkers, anything that we deliver to, our departments, our executives, people like that. And then once again, quantifying your performance towards the business goals. So what's the first step on quantifying your value? Well, first, we need to understand the company goals, mission, and business commitments. If you don't understand them or don't know them or feel that your company doesn't have a vision or mission statement, talk with your manager. One of the tools that we're going to be talking about is setting up regular one-on-one meetings with your manager. And this allows you to be totally transparent with your manager. That will avoid problem areas, will avoid performance issues. It will avoid a lot of things. So one of the to-do items that I want everybody to put on their list right now is to set up regular meetings with your manager. It can be once a week. It could be once every week. If it's twice a month, it could be once a month. The frequency is up to you. The concept is I need to meet with my manager on a regular basis. If you only meet with your manager when there's a problem or when you're having your performance evaluation, of course, that's going to be, you're going to build some anxiety around it. You're going to be frustrated with that meeting. But if you're doing it on a regular basis, practice makes perfect. If you're meeting with your manager on a regular basis, it's no big deal. Okay? Here's an example of quantifying your performance. Remember, a lot of us, this strategy works for your resume as well as your professional career press kit. That's another tool that I'm going to talk about a little bit later. The professional career press kit allows you to collect your accomplishments as you go along. I don't want you to wait until the week before your performance evaluation to sit down and write down everything that you accomplished during the year, all your client interactions, all your awards, all your recommendations, all your commendations. I want you to be doing that throughout the year as that appears so that you don't have to remember all of them. So that's what your professional career press kit allows you to do. As something good happens, you stick it in your press kit. Anyway, here's an example. For instance, we have a senior business systems analyst. He says, 8 years as a senior business system analyst, I develop and support J2EE manufacturing applications. So that sounds pretty good. But what if he said, I revamped and optimized the manufacturing process, which reduced the delivery time by 60% and reduced costs by 75%. That's a more powerful statement, and it quantifies your performance to the company's goals. Another example, I led development of an online application tracking system. That sounds pretty good, but what if he wrote, I automated an online tracking system which reduced the need for 3 clerks down to 1 and processed 10,000 job applications annually, saving the company $120,000 a year. So you're sticking in numbers, you're sticking in results, and aligning it with the company's business goals. So those are the things that I want you guys to consider, both in your performance evaluations, when you write up your achievements for the year, or even your resumes. What if you don't know your company's specific missions and goals? Well, the first step is, talk with your manager on that important one-on-one meetings that we talked about setting up. If you don't know your company's goals, here's the trick. Most companies are in the business of making money. So if you focus on increasing revenues, reducing costs, increasing customer satisfaction, those issues, and identify your results associated with making money, you'll be fine. Okay? The top 3 professional issues: unclear and changing directives, time management issues, and staying ahead of the learning curve on new technologies. These days, things are changing very, very quickly. And the key to staying ahead is to not get bogged down with the unimportant items. Okay? That's the key to doing more with less. And in the Professional Development Toolkit, I talk about how to clear those to-do lists. I talk about time management issues. I talk about how to clarify the changing directives and how to better do change management on everything that crosses your table. Okay?